Oh no. I thought you were going to something.
What do you think of the new layout then? You haven't been on the pod for a few months. What's the thoughts?
Yeah, it's a nice design.
Yeah, I wish I
like
could make
Star
the
Wars
voices
font.
higher pitched and lower pitched.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Hello guys, today No, hello everyone. What is going on? James here, and welcome back to the podcast with BJ Zanderfist Bennings.
Thank you. Great to be back.
And as you can tell by the title, today we are discussing Ben's erotic fan fiction, Smythen. As you can tell by that very cool fancy background there, that is Smythen, the show, or the comic book series. You've got the main, I'm guessing who is the main character on the right? The geezer I'm on the left, sorry.
On the left is the main protagonist, Elliot, who is kind of the straight man window into the world of mythical dating.
Mm-hmm. And then on the right is the cool dragon lady.
Mm-hmm. That's Lyderia, his wild pansexual dragon roommate, because you got to have both halves of the spectrum.
He's a big fat ass companion. So, there you go.
Yeah, it does cut out a little bit, but she does have the words "fiery" written across her ass on the shorts.
Oh, fair play to her.
I thought with the juicy shorts, I just thought it was a nice nod to the real world.
Yeah, true. I like the little white marks as well to make it look like they're falling or swinging somewhere.
Yeah, so the cover was drawn by a friend of mine on Discord. I've known him for like a few years. They go by Red Penguin. That's their kind of artist name. And their idea for it was a lot cooler, because mine was just originally like them stood back to back with their phones in hand like guns kind of thing, like mimicking that old pose. But then when they said like, oh, what if they're just kind of like falling through the internet or whatever, I was like, oh, that's a lot better. it's a lot more.
Yeah, stands out a lot more. But anyway, so the thing is, with Smythen, you have sent me the script. I read a few pages. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to retain a lot of it. I like the bit where UFC was mentioned. The conversations were cool. But the one thing I have to ask is, how long have you wanted to create this comic for? How long has it been in the Ben Bennings library?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I first came up with the idea. So back in 2020, like mid-pandemic, obviously everyone was indoors, and I was reading a lot more comic stuff, like weekly releases for like Marvel and DC, and like catching up on old stuff. And I think just by reading so much and just taking it all in, I was like, you know what? I'm stuck at home doing nothing right now, and I'd really love to like make a comic somehow. Like I don't know how I'd do that, because obviously you need like a creative team if you can't do it all yourself. And it was just a pipeline idea at first, but I started noodling around with this idea. I'd use like dating apps and stuff. So I thought, what if there was like a dating app that was, a story where it takes that to the absurd, and it starts exploring all facets of like fiction and mythology.
But is his can I ask, is his fetish like fat ass dragon alien?
No, it's okay. So the character on the right, my face just keeps coming in now. The character on the right is not his. It's not like a person he's matched with on the app, but it's it's one of the Mythies. It's one of the non-human beings in the world of Smythen, who gets him into the app because she goes for brunch with the Lesbian and Draconic Society, aka the Lads. A joke which I will never. I cannot remove. I need that to stay in the script for as long as possible. And she's like, "Oh, I heard from my ogre friend Blorg that there's this new dating app that hooks, get this, mythical people with normal people. Well, not normal people, because she'll probably get offended by that, because you can't refer to them as abnormal. But and then they have like a very close friends just goofing off with each other kind of relationship. She's based off a friend of mine from uni, who I've told you about. Yeah.
I just wanted to.
Hello
Liam,
there.
hello there, Liam. You know what's brilliant? Ben, to entice you to read it, Ben has actually put a picture of Ewan McGregor mooning the camera there. So you've got Ewan McGregor's arse in the comic, Liam, so you'll be happy about that one. And
No.
George has made another account because I've banned so many of his accounts called I do love a good BJ book. So there you go then. There you go.
We all love a good BJ book because they're full of surprises.
But so you based the dragon off a good friend of yours, you know, who's a good laugh from what you've said. Have you based the characters off anybody else?
Yeah, I think like the main character. I think there's this whole thing with writing where like, oh, you shouldn't put yourself into the characters you write, but then I think that's a load of bullshit because in order to write, we have to take from our personal experiences. That's kind of that's what storytelling is. It all comes from facets of our life or other things we've taken in. And in terms of other characters, I mean, the main character has a brother. That's nothing like any of my brothers. It was more just a foil for the story. I hope he doesn't read it and think, "Oh God, he's based this off me," because if so, our relationship is ruined.
He's like John Cena. Do 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 ah do 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 do. There you go.
Yeah, I'll take out my muscles later. They're definitely there. But yeah, it's no, it's good. I think that's one of the reasons I've been so passionate about this so far is that it's a story I've had so much passion in because it feels like I can add so much more to it. Like I'm getting new ideas for it constantly. And the annoying thing is I've already filled out the first script and we don't even know we're going to get this made. So it's like those ideas are still way in the future, but it tells me I'm doing the right thing anyway.
George has quickly put, what do you think of the social patriarchy of men sexualizing women?
Well, I really hope it sells comic books because we're going to sexualize a ton of women. No.
Are the dinosaur and the boy dating? No, that's a lesbian dragon.
So well, pansexual dragon.
Oh, sorry, yeah, pansexual
but
dragon.
She's allowed in the lesbian and draconic society because pansexuals are valid lesbians, at least in the world of Smythen. I'm totally assuming an LGBT standard there. I have no idea, but yeah.
Please tell me the liberal agenda makes a cameo. Who is the liberal agenda? Ben, technically, the liberal agenda. My impression of Ben says it's not. I don't know if it's an actual being.
Well, this is planning very, very far ahead. But in the issue right after issue number 68, so the one after that, it's revealed that the liberal agenda has actually been masterminding the Smythen app to not inbreed. That's no fuck's sake. It mix all of the mythies and normies together.
Okay.
No, I don't know. There's liberal themes, but I think it's not one of those things that beats you over the head with it.
Could Tony Blair make an appearance and George comes in and goes, "Fuck you! You ruined my life."
No,
get him, Georgie! Get him! Let's get after him in the MG. The end.
What a great way to go out.
Miners, tank material. Oh, yeah.
Look, if it sells comics again, sure, whatever. I'll promise there's some Japanese schoolgirls in issue number 2, and then I'll get the No, Tony Blair was eaten by a dinosaur in Smythen. Okay. It starts the whole chain of events. I don't know.
Well, let's bomb the dinosaurs then, shall we? No, they just stop him straight away. War on the dinosaur. Just instantly dead.
Thatcher. Oh, dear.
Oh, that's it. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm putting my agenda forward now.
But yeah, no. So in terms of, talks about like if it gets made and stuff. So currently the plan is to launch the Kickstarter on March 1st, just about under 2 weeks away. Got to raise £2,700 to get it made, which seems like a lot, but when you make a comic book, there's actually a lot that goes into it. So it's a fairly big goal, but I'm optimistic, because I believe in the premise and the art school, and so far the marketing for it's been really fun. So, fingers crossed.
So how much do you need then on the Kickstarter?
So 2,700 is our goal.
Damn, that's pretty.
Yeah, but so There you go.
I'm not trying to intrude, but is that just to make the comic, or is that for a little bit of like £100 of reward for yourself? Or
No, believe me when I say that if we make the total, I will be seeing none of the money come back to me because
not even a
it'll-
fiver for a Copperberg.
I thought about doing a little success party or something somewhere.
Cool.
Just invite people who supported the project and friends and family and stuff. That'd be a lot of fun, but that would come out of my own thing. Because the thing is, the thing about Kickstarter is, and obviously I love what the platform has done for indie comics, and it's a way for a lot of people to actually get into the world of comics that just didn't exist previously. Because like you need connections, or you need to desperately shove a portfolio of work. Which if you're a writer, you'd have to commission an artist anyway out of your own money. So it's a great platform, but they do take fees out of every project, and they're not, they're not chump change. It's like, I think like it's up to the budget from like 2,400 to 2,700 or something like that. Which I think it's one of those things where it gets smaller the more money you raise, or like maybe not. But,
say if you got like $2,000 or 1,500 or even $1,000, do you reckon you still be able to make the first issue?
No, because the thing about Kickstarter is, I think like Indiegogo, for example, it doesn't have a criteria where you need to meet the goal in the 30 days to get.
Oh shit! Only 30 days.
Yeah, well, you can set it to like 60, but they say that the most successful ones are actually 30 days, because what happens with the majority of projects is in the first day or two, or the first few days, there's a fair few donations, hopefully. And at the very end, when it's about to reach its goal, more and more people pile on because they're like, oh, well, this is nearly funded anyway. I could help them make that, and that's a good feeling. But in the middle, probably like the middle, like 20 days at least, it's really slow. And that's where you really have to like do marketing and promotion and spam people and start adding new rewards to try and entice people. But yeah, if it's, if you don't make the total, it ain't happening. So
that is brutal, man. I guess it's a brutal, harsh reality, and you've just got to give it your all and hope and pray that you get there. If you've given it your all, then I guess that's all you can do. Yeah. You've done a lot of promotion, and it seems like a lot of people are rallying behind it. I mean, I'm definitely going to donate a tenner. How many tens in 2,700? 270. So if you if you get 270 people to donate a tenner, or maybe there's some really generous people, who knows, or maybe there's a load of people who just donate a quid.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, I appreciate that so much. I appreciate basically any support that anyone's able to give. I've been messaging people, and I've been saying stuff like, pledges are appreciated, but please don't think that that's mandatory. There's like a £1 pledge option if that's literally all you can give, or just share it around. Because word of mouth is so big. I've already had a few people. I sent it to a family friend this morning, and I got a message back saying like, "Hey man, this is really cool. I'm going to share it to some of my animator friends who would probably be into this." And I was like, "Oh shit, that's awesome," because that's already like 3 or 4 people who might donate or pledge or share it themselves. And it's just that it's really crucial.
Of course. So we've got James's right-wing agenda, another moderate conservative agenda from me. I don't appreciate these baseless claims. I'll be taking that money, thank you. I mean, well, if you've got some arrangement with Ben, then fair enough. You should do a publicity stunt, putting the first issue in public libraries.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Slipping them in there.
Yeah, my only worry is like, in terms of publicity, I don't think public libraries are creating that much attention. If I managed to like advertise on Tinder or something, that would be, like if it was an ad that said something like tired of dating human being. No, not that would sound a bit weird. That probably sound like bestiality. Tired of normal dating. Try something more mythical, and then it's like a link to the Kickstarter or something.
Well, with Glory the Hippo, you can't go wrong with a bit of bestiality, can you? So.
Well, I won't comment on that because of legal and religious reasons.
Could Glory the Hippo make an appearance in Smythen?
No, because of
bloody hell.
Well, actually, to be fair, I don't know. I think with comics it's interesting because I've seen cameos of like characters where they don't have the rights to them, but they've just drawn them, and it's like I guess you couldn't really prove that flimsy little drawing in the corner of a panel is really this character, and also it's not really detracting from the audience of, say, Transformers. If you draw an Optimus Prime figure in a kid's house or something in a comic.
Yeah.
So I think I could, but whether or not I'm going to is slim. So.
Well, you could get a big, thick character who looks a bit like Glory the Hippo. There you go.
Well, there you go. Yeah, she may be one of the the mythical, one of the profiles on Smythen that Elliot matches with. Like the hippo woman. That's the thing. That's it's why like I'm really eager to make more of these if it's successful. I mean, that would be great because just because then I'd get to draw hippo whipping and stuff. But there you go.
I was going to say that was actually the next question. If you are, if the graph pays off and you're lucky enough to, and obviously would worked hard enough as well, but sort of luck as well, a bit of both to get to that 2,700. Would you just hope that one's really successful, or would you have another one in plan anyway, even if you get to 2,700?
I think the problem is if we don't raise it and we don't do it, then it's kind of like, can you really do it again because you've already tried it? And I don't know. I think that's one of the sad realities about kickstarting and crowdfunding and indie comics is if it doesn't work, then sort of move on to the next thing, whenever that is. But
so would it be another comic idea, or?
Yeah, I think, yeah, for sure. It's got, like I want to write comics, I want to make comics, I want to try that and try my hardest at it because my life stream is to write a Silver Surfer comic for Marvel.
That'd be pretty cool.
It's a bit of a stretch, but then it's not Spider-Man. Everyone wants to write Spider-Man. It's more of a niche. But in order to do that, I just got to start at the bottom. I've got to graft. I've got to make connections and just give it a go. I don't know.
George's push, I could make a Tinder for one of the characters, and if I match with anyone, just send them the link to the book. Well, there we go. Genius from George.
Honestly, it's a good idea, and I'm genuinely tempted to do that myself. Just upload the picture of Lyderia or something, set it to like men, women, everyone pretty much, and then just some funny shit in the bio. I think, George, no offense, if we use you as the basis for Tinder matches, then it's a bit of a... It's a bit.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
So, who would you say your favorite character is out the story that you made so far? Then,
I think so far, like, I think to be fair, like, given that Elliot is the straight man and kind of the protagonist, you see the world through. It's probably like Lyderia is what I think would be the fan favorite or the breakout.
Yeah,
just because I think. My intention was to create kind of like a modern female character, and I don't mean that in some sort of sense of like, strong, powerful heroine who's a Mary Sue and can never fail or anything like that, because I don't find that kind of character interesting. But I just find like a lot of the kind of modern approach, like for example, it's hinted that she's a content creator. Maybe in this world, I don't mention it outright in the script. Maybe she makes some sort of OnlyFans content. I'm sure there's like because why not? They're not perfect, well,
yeah,
they're not.
I guess Dragon's got to eat, hasn't she? So
exactly, yeah. And maybe there's some sort of fun mythological name for OnlyFans in this world.
Yeah. How'd you come up with the idea and the name then?
I think I touched on it briefly before. I think it was just like one of those things where when you're experiencing something in life, like using dating apps, for example, a random thought pops into your head like, oh man, what if this was, maybe I was playing Hades or watching Hercules at the time, something, and it just spawned that kind of idea. Or maybe, to be fair, it could have been the name, just because I'm one of those people where when I come up with like a name for something or a phrase or a word, I'm like, that's a great idea. I should build things around that. So I think it genuinely might have been the fact that it was Myth and Smythen together. It's just had this nice Smythen, And I think I always do is I Google it to make sure that no one else has done that, and I couldn't find. In fact, if I Google it now, I don't know what comes up. Hopefully, the Kickstarter. Okay, not the Kickstarter, but.
George has come up with a good idea. I'd sub to the OnlyFans. Is his last name Roger? But the good idea, call it OnlyFans.
Oh yeah,
That's pretty good.
That's actually okay. Hats off, because I might use that. That's pretty good. And as royalties to George, I will give him 5p of the total fund. So.
Well, even if it makes loads of money somehow.
Yeah, even if it's the most successful comic Kickstarter, because you set your rates. That's good. That is good though.
You're entitled to 10%. Leave it. Don't worry about it. So it's made $1 billion. Well, I've only lost out on 100 quid. Georgie, 100 quid isn't 10% of $1 billion. What is then? Remember that in The Simpsons?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea.
I think that's the one where Mr. Burns like rakes up the ocean, doesn't he, with some net? And then Lisa's like, no, I can't believe I helped him. But then Mr. Burns is like, you're entitled to 10%. And Homer's like, you turned it down. Don't. You know.
Well, like on the very, on the slim chance that this does well, and I mean like insanely well, like which I'm not expecting, because obviously that's everyone wants that, but it only happens to like a few people. I feel like it would work pretty well as like an animated show, like an adult thing, kind of inspired by like, I know, BoJack Horseman or Simpsons or something,
Bro, try and get us a cameo voice acting in there. You've seen my voice acting work on Ed Bound's videos.
I have. It is pretty good. It is pretty good.
You could try and, especially if it's a comedic thing, you could try and slip me in there. Maybe slip Liam in. It'd be cool to hear his voice on TV.
I think you'd be sort of at the Hank Azaria, where you would bring a wide range of voice roles to it. And one of the characters in 20 years would end up getting cancelled, and your career would be over. But it's a nice ride. It's a nice ride.
How dare you, mummy, you bloody failure! Go upstairs now while I stream all the time. You can't tell your mum to go upstairs. Cancel him. You can't have characters with stammers.
Well, that's the thing. I think there's certainly a lot of opportunity to introduce some diverse character types in a series like this because of the nature of the premise. So maybe there is a JC or Jimmy C lookalike to come in the future, or a GC, or a gaming channel, or an
TGC.
As Monster. What was his name on the
As Monster?
As Monster. I'm trying to remember his Halo name, and I genuinely
As Monster. That'd be a funny chat. A bad guy, a big fat bad guy.
You said it. That's.
Come on, mate. Come on.
Well, anyway, I think there actually is. Now that I mentioned that, one of the reward tiers, I think it's something. It's only like 60 quid or something, which I know seems like a lot, but when you consider it's like people deliberately giving more because they believe in the.
It's an audience with the gaming channel himself. Well, it's good of Liam to sign up to that. Bloody hell.
Yeah. Well, one of the rewards is that there's a scene in the comic where like people are waiting outside a restaurant, waiting for a taxi, and they're all supposed to be looking very happy and jovial, whereas Elliot's looking a bit sad because his date's just not gone the way he thought it would.
No.
And the reward here is that the artist Shah Reed, who's doing all the art, she's great. She'll draw your likeness in the comic in that scene, which I think is pretty cool. I've heard of other comics doing this, especially indie stuff, because it's just a way for people to like to warrant paying that much, where it's like, oh, I can actually be in this comic, and if it takes off, I can like take out my copy and say, well, son, I was drawn into a little known comic called Smythen before it became a rampaging NSFW furry erotica that was banned in most countries. So great
story to tell the kids.
Yeah, I think so. Five or six, when they're really understanding language.
Well, shout out to, did you say Shah Weed?
Shah Reed, so CHAR. That's okay. Well, I'll give you the links and you can.
Shah Reed. Shout out to Shah Reed, because that's a very good of her to do all that shit for you.
Yeah, I think I found Yeah, I found her on like a Twitter thread where people were artists looking for commissions and stuff. And I just liked what she did with her webcomic called The Golden Troop, because it was very like animals and fantasy, and it kind of had the same vibe. So I just hit her up in an email being like, okay, what are your rates? I'd like to maybe get some test pages of this comic that I've been writing. And it just went from there. And that was like 2022. So that was over a year ago now.
Mm-hmm. Pretty wholesome 100. George said, just call the character Junko. That's all the payment I need. I turn myself into a sex dragon, Morty. Cool as Joe Wyden. Amazing. That's a great idea. I got a CD though, Patreon, that had my name on it.
Yeah, that's like
stuff like that. Patreon, I'm guessing, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's, and I forgot what George said before the Joe Wyden thing. Interspecies reviewers. Okay, I'm a little worried to ask what interspecies means in this context, but
I'm guessing he just means I don't know, mixing certain, like you mix a dragon and a human together, you're given a humanly feature.
Sure, but I don't know.
I'm hoping that's what George means.
Yeah, I don't want to know what the real life counterpart.
I'll send you some of my wanking material, Ben. You got some good stuff and good ideas to look forward to. The creative juice is rolling.
Because I feel like whatever real life context there is to that is not going to be allowed on this stream.
Yes, the creative juice is wanking. But
expect to see a lot more content like that in Smythen.
So, what would you say, like the meaning and the themes behind it are, without giving too much away?
I think that's an interesting one. I think I don't want to like tell the whole story, but then also I feel like with the nature of indie comics, you kind of have to give away the whole farm with a pig, you know, just because people are basically paying kind of like 3 or 4 times more than they would a regular comic, and they do that with the knowledge that it's to support a growing creator and stuff. But you've got to you've got to make it worth their money and their time as well. And I think being like a romance comedy, I think it's kind of my intention to parody a lot of like rom-com tropes, because there are still so many terrible rom-coms out there, and like will they won't they relationships and sitcoms and stuff like that. It's all kind of a satire of that, but I think ultimately the theme behind it is just how far, you know, like he's installing an app that's like going outside of the boundaries of his world and matching him with like scorpions and vampires and dragon women and water spirits and whatever else. And I suppose it's just like a testament to how far a hopeless romantic will go to find love, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's an exaggeration of that, which is what I think makes it so fun.
Fair play. Who's your biggest comic author, book author inspirations?
Oh, that's a good question. So in terms of Smythen, at least I'll speak about in general, but I think in terms of what inspired this project, the big one was probably Scott Pilgrim. I know that's a very it's very over-referenced. You know, when indie comic creators are crowdfunding, they often point to that because it's like the art style isn't too complicated. It's kind of chibi. It's quite simplistic. The comedy is very natural, very genuine. So it makes sense why a lot of indie comics readers like that and why they want to use that as a inspiration. But in my case, it's not just the art or the sense of humor. It's also the setting and it's in this kind of regular world that's very much like a video game. He's getting one-upped and he's pulling swords and stuff, and he's using cheat codes or whatever it is. And it's a romantic thing too. Like it's all about that is a story all about retroactive jealousy, because he's fighting 7 evil exes and he's also learning about himself in the process. So definitely Scott Pilgrim. 8 Billion Genies is a new favorite of mine that came out in 2022, I think. And it's a really great comic by Charles Soule and Ryan Brown. And it's all about, it's a day on Earth called G-Day, which is when every single person on Earth gets a genie and they have one wish. And it's called 8 billion genies, 8 billion wishes happening. in the span of a day or a month or whatever. And that was a really fun thing to read because it felt like the kind of story that I wanted to tell in comics. It was like this very bizarre and absurd premise, which I love. That's usually what drives me to write a story, is like a really cool, unique premise. And every time I read it, I just thought, like, man, obviously, like, these are two professional people here, but like, this doesn't feel like a Marvel product or a DC thing or some high and mighty work of art. This feels like two people that just wanted to make something really fun, wacky, and comic books are the medium to do that kind of stuff in. So definitely that. And then lastly, Silver Surfer by Dan Slott and Michael Moore Allred, which is just a cosmic romance story. It's really fun, great art, one of my favorite comics of all time. And yeah.
Well, fair points.
Sorry, I know that was probably a lot more of an answer you
well,
expected.
I was gonna, the next question sort of rolled back into that one, but have many films or TV shows inspired this story? You obviously mentioned Scott Pilgrim. Did anything else sort of come into it?
Yeah, I think outside of comics, I think films and TV. I loved like Disney's Hercules as a kid, and I was never like huge into Greek mythology, but I always thought that was such a fun way to present it. Because again, it's a similar thing where it starts in Olympus, I think. Yeah.
Who's got the gliding gladiator? Hercules.
Oh,
it's so cool seeing him like
deeds make creator Hercules. Yeah, fantastic.
It's so cool seeing him like gradually get better and become the main Don, but then obviously giving up his powers and showing his heart when he has to rescue that redhead lady's soul from Hercules' pit of souls or whatever's going on there.
Yeah, and it was just
Hades pit of souls, I mean.
Yeah, and it's a similar thing where it's like a Olympus and the regular world, like Athens or wherever it's set. And yeah, there's mix between the two. It can be if you want it to be, George. That's the beauty of polysemics and literacy. You can take any meaning from any text that you want, and it's true to you. And that's
8 million G-spots. 8 billion times. Oh my!
Two very valid responses to that comment there. but yeah, Hercules. I think that's a great one. I think it got a lot of people into Greek mythology too. In terms of like film, or in terms of TV, I should say, I think any sitcom with a will they won't they, like Jim and Pam in The Office, Ross and Rachel, Jonah and Amy in Superstore, anything like that really, where it's just like
Brian Leela.
Oh yeah, oh my god, I did not mention that one. Yeah, Fry and Leela. I've not watched the new seasons, but I hope they haven't broken them up again. I'll cry.
No. Well, there's one episode where basically it's an episode where Leela was put under a spell, but she looks like a complete slag in it. It's quite annoying. It's shit.
I'll have to check that out.
But every other episode is, honestly, the fans have ragged the new season of Futurama, but I think it's mostly good.
Well, that's the thing, Futurama. So I think I didn't mention that one, but that makes, growing up with, I think I grew up with 3 older brothers, and at a certain point, I think my parents just stopped checking what I was like watching or playing, because I watched a lot of movies and shows and played games I shouldn't have from an early age. So I grew up on Futurama, I grew up on Simpsons, I watched a bit of Family Guy, American Dad, stuff like that. And I think comics and animation have a very similar look. It's a different storytelling medium entirely, but there's a lot of synergy between the two. Hence why I think Scott Pilgrim, the show, was such a success, because it managed to recreate the same art style, take the actors from the movies, and kind of combine the best two elements of that franchise.
Yeah, that's a fair comment, man. George has put, Mini Tom needs Smythen. Well, you can send it to him if you want, George. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, when they like send it, when the funding's open, send to anyone who might have a weird dragon kink or anything like that.
All the fans of the dragon from Shrek sitting on Donkey. Woo.
Believe me, at this point in my career, I'm not denying any supporters or fans, unless they're like smelly Nazis or something.
Yeah, exactly. Unless they're absolute evil mentalists who want to push evil stuff on people, you might as well.
Yeah.
As long as it's not like, noncy or too creepy, you might as well, let people in and let them have a laugh.
Yeah. I mean, my comic is a little bit creepy, but it's not nonsense, so that's good. I've got that going for it.
You started watching The Hub at 12. Oh, dear. Now he'll probably dox me. Who? Oh, Mini Tom. No, he's not a doxer. He just bloody reports everyone to YouTube. He had a YTP made of him, and he kept trying to get in contact with YouTube on Twitch. He put at YouTube, this person's YTP'd me, get rid of their video. He's like, come on, mate. What? Come on. How can, bro? Like, if they're people you don't know, just don't bloody watch it. Oh dear, George has put. He'll send one to Jeffy E. Oh no,
he's dead, George. He killed himself because he just couldn't. Oh, wait, no, he didn't kill himself.
As Ricky Gervais said.
Yeah, last funny joke
we should send this comic to Ricky Gervais. He bloody love this.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if there's a lot in it for him. He's lost his sense of humor.
Nah, he's still quite funny.
Well, I don't know, but yeah.
Well, here and there, he's quite funny anyway. Have you got? I sort of asked it earlier. Have you got any other comic series planned? That was one of the questions.
Plans, no. You always get kind of ideas in your head and ideas of what would be cool next. I think I should probably start thinking up like a contingency plan for a very different idea for if this one doesn't get funded, just because you can't really. I don't think Kickstarter lets you sort of try and crowdfund again. You sort of just have to. You get a big stamp on the profile that says unsuccessful, and then you just move on to the next thing. Which I'll be honest, it's nobody wants that. Like literally nobody wants that to happen, and but as a first timer, you go into it with no knowledge of how it's going to be received. I might be lucky. I might get like a couple hundred in pledges in the first day, or I might just get like 60 or something. That could happen, and then by the end of it, it's just but you've got to try. I know that's not your question. I veered off into a separate thing, but not to get too morbid or dramatic about it. It is a comic book, but we only live once. If we have dreams, we need to at least give it a shot. You don't have to stick to one dream, but you have to at least give it a try. And I'm thankful that so many people have helped me on this already, because it feels like a really good first attempt.
Yeah, man. George has put he's doxed a known Callum YTP here. Oh, okay, that's a real shame. I didn't expect that from him. He can read it in heaven, bro. An evil piece of shit like that is not in heaven. He's not
going to heaven. But who is going to heaven? People who pledge Smythen issue #1 on Kickstarter, March 1st.
I got idea called Smythen about her. Oh.
No, I've thought about advertising on that, but it's insane money, and let's be honest, nobody goes to those kind of sites to look at the ads. So
yeah, it's just an instant skip, isn't it?
I do like the Tinder idea. I'm going to steal that.
PC on site.
So now George gets 10p in royalties.
That's good. Well deserved. But to be honest, all the taxes all of us have given him over the years, you deserve to take a few of his ideas.
Profit off of his ideas. I think that's only fair.
Yeah, it's very justice, true justice. But obviously donating to someone's dreams, you've got to do a lot more to get into the afterlife, in my opinion. You have to, go above and beyond and do your best. But doing a good deed, donating to someone's dreams, if you want to, is a good positive thing to do, even if it's just a quid, or even if, as Ben said earlier, even if it's just sharing it around, word of mouth, quite a big help for people.
Absolutely, and it's literally like, it's like you said, if I'd be grateful for anyone who pledged any amount of money, because times are tough now and people are pretty much working for every penny they've got.
Yeah,
but it's like you said, if 270 people bought the physical issue, which is £10, then it'd be funded. Or if like 10 very generous rich people found their way to the premium tiers where it's like 3 digits, then it's all good.
Oh, so with spending 10 quid on the Kickstarter then. So how many comics is there then, or will you need that to actually make the comics the 2,700?
It's just one issue.
Okay.
It's that's the nature of the beast.
I mean, like copies of the issue. I mean.
Well, at the moment the plan, all of the tier, we worked out all of the tiers that include getting an issue. So, but it levels up because obviously the more expensive tiers have all of the above. So if someone pledges £10, they get an issue. Someone pledges £100,
really nice.
They get put into the comic in their own little Smythen profile, which is a fun little reward we came up with, me and my editor. But they also get a physical issue, a digital PDF. I think the physical one is signed as well. So a good number of them for the more expensive tiers will be signed by me. I'll get one of those sort of silver metallic pens and sign my signature on it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So who's the editor then? Should we give them a shout out?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, we've already mentioned the artist and cover artist. So, and it's a little bit of a story too. So the comic was edited by my friend S.R. Lewis, also goes by Relic Raider. He is a great comic artist. He did a degree for it at Leeds Art University, I think it's called. I'd have to double check that. He did like comic and graphic concept art or something. Had a funny name to it, but it's basically like a degree for comic book artists. And that's great because I got to go to Thought Bubble, a comic convention in November, meet a few of his course mates, meet a few of his lecturers actually. And his lecturers are all, well, not all, but a good few of them were at that convention selling their own books because they weren't just lecturers, they were literally working comic creators. So that was pretty cool. And the weird thing is I'd known him on Discord since 2019. Yeah, so I've known him nearly 5 years now, which is crazy to say because it doesn't feel that long. But one day I just found out he lives in Brum, which I don't think is doxing because it's a big place.
Yeah, Birmingham's massive, isn't it?
Yeah, but like he lives in the Brum area anyway. I don't think he doesn't live in the city centre. We live near each other anyway in the general mass of Birmingham, and we just met up and stuff. And we were good friends online and good friends in person. Go out for drinks, go climbing, sort of fun shit like that. And one day I just said to him like, "Hey, I've got this comic script. It's 24 pages. It's it's a first draft. It's probably gonna be pretty rough because I didn't." Thing is, it's like a comic script is not the same as a novel or a screenplay. It's got its own whole language to it because you're basically writing in a way that communicates to the artist how they're going to draw it, and you're also trying to figure out panels and you're trying to draw it in your head, and it's it's a complicated thing. I enjoy writing comic scripts, but it is definitely a different thing to anything I've done before.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of notes, which I was really appreciative of because he had a note about basically every page, but by the end of it, it meant that the first draft, the vomit draft as I call it, it was massively different to what I've got now. To the point where if I look back at it, I cringe because I'm like, oh, how did I write that? It's so bad. But that was just all part of the process.
Exactly. Your first draft ain't going to be the best draft, is it?
No, and that's not the point. The whole point is, like, it doesn't matter if the first draft is good because what you do is you take it and you refine it and you rewrite it. Good writing is rewriting. I've always believed that.
Yeah.
And when it came to actually being like, hey, I kind of want to get some test pages for this drawn. I want to get this made. It took a while, but the more and more I sort of did that with him, I just said to him at one point, like, you know what? I think I'm going to give you an editor credit on the comic and like slap your name on the cover because you've literally been instrumental in actually making this thing happen. Like, you've improved the script. You've given me a lot of advice and info and resources on working with artists and kickstarting and marketing and stuff like that. And honestly, I couldn't have done it without him. And I hope to. I hope to work with him on.
Got your name on the cover.
I hope to work with him on a comic in the future. We've submitted to like 1 or 2 anthologies, and we haven't gone in yet. But like, doesn't matter because that's all part of the process. You try and crowdfund a comic, and maybe it happens, and maybe it doesn't. You try and submit to an anthology with your portfolio, and that can go either way. But
well,
like,
with your main man, your good friend, hopefully his artistic talents have helped out a shit ton.
Yeah, for sure.
Now I'm going to address nonsense. George is saying he doxed YJT. That's very sad. I'm sorry to hear that. James, you should donate the money you stole from the Children's Hospital ward.
You should.
George, that's a baseless claim. And even if I did that, it's pointless because the money would go straight back to you in the gaping hole that is the GC collecting and the MG funding. That's the biggest gaping hole ever. That's just like bloody, chucking your money into a bloody kiln or wiping your ass with it and just shooting it with a flamethrower. Yeah. Being serious, being serious, several Snoop. Being serious, Black. No, being serious, a sec. I highly admire all the hard work and commitment you put into this comic. Well, that's really nice of you to say, George, to Ben.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It is a commitment, and it's a lot of time and work and money because I've had to pay a little bit to get the whole process started. And hopefully hopefully that hard work pays off. You never know, but you just no matter what dream you're trying to pursue, you don't get anywhere by skipping the hard work, and that sucks because a lot of the time you're doing it with no knowledge or no guarantee that what you're doing is going to have any kind of result. But you just got to do it. You got to take that dive and just graft and give yourself to something. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here if I didn't do that. And I really love being in this stage where I'm actually hopefully making the thing, and I'm promoting it and marketing it and stuff. It's been really exciting in the past few weeks, and it's all because of hard work.
Indeed, hard work, graft and grit, and you've done it while working as well, which is a lot harder than doing it as a person who wouldn't be working. Obviously, if you've got all the free time in the world, you can graft more. And I don't blame people for doing that, but it is definitely harder to do stuff while you are working. I've been grafting all day and hopped on the pod, and obviously you've been working all day, Ben, and you've been kind enough to hop on the pod, so I feel like obviously passion outweighs a lot of stuff, because I do know people who don't work, who don't pursue their passions. So obviously just because you have all the free time to pursue your passions doesn't mean you are going to pursue your passions. But what I'm saying is what you did was pretty hard, so fair play that you've come this far.
Yeah, no, thank you for saying that, and I agree. I think that's the reality of a lot of people, is that you'll need to have like a main form of employment if you're pursuing something where you're not going to be making much money at the start. And it sucks sometimes, but then I look at myself and think, well, if I'm not doing something, if I'm not writing, if I'm not working on this project, I'm just sort of sat watching the same TV shows, playing the same games, and like it's leisure time, but I've also got to think, like, am I using this time as effectively as I can to improve or to work towards my goals in the future? And
yeah, preach, fair play, man. I don't. How have you spelled debt wrong? I don't steal. I debt collect. So you collect departments, George. I don't know how that's physical. Well, you can break the physical boundaries, can't you? You can physically pick up a whole department and take it away with you. So, are we getting an 80 private chat meme? Oi, oi. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well. Okay. 2 final questions then. Would you ever let anyone write? Sorry. Would you write any film scripts yourself?
I've thought about that. I think probably not, and I think because I think just as much as I've enjoyed like certain movies, I've just never really seen myself wanting to go that direction. I know a lot of people do because like there's a lot of film buffs out there nowadays, especially with things like A24, Letterboxd, Film Twitter. You know, like everyone probably wants to write the next Oppenheimer or Everything Everywhere All at Once or The Whale or whatever fucking movies came out in the last year or so. But for me, I really love reading comic books. I think it's a great medium that has flourished and declined and come back over the last few decades. It's not just about superheroes. There's so many great indie comics and different genres. And I mean, there's like an Oscar in the comic books industry, like the equivalent of an Oscar called an Eisner Award, named after Will Eisner, who was a famous Disney cartoonist. And most of those aren't given to Marvel or DC, despite the fact that they are the ones making the most money. It's all going to like these great indie books. So I don't know. Yeah. Again, I veered off there, but no, I think I'll stick to comic books and stuff for now.
Fair enough, bro. And would you let anyone make Smythen into a TV show or movie? Sorry, Smythen into a TV show or movie?
I would probably say yes before they even like address me by my full name. They'd be like, "Well, Mr. Yep. Netflix show, 10 episodes, 0 royalties. Yep, fucking go for it."
Damn, fair play. You really care about it. That's cool.
I think I'd probably just like. Thing is, because although I'm really passionate about the idea, I think you can't hold it. You know, you have to. What's the phrase? Like, kill your darlings. You can't hold on to like any project or anything for too long or too passionately. I mean, look at George Lucas. You know, he did that, and then he went back and he digitally raped his films with CGI. So,
I mean, some of the changes which make the planets look bigger, but some of them are like, what the hell's going on? Like the, you know, whatever that was.
I mean, I mean, I'm not saying that, like, for example, selling it to Disney yielded all the positive results in the world, but also at that point, the franchise was basically going nowhere, and I'm really glad for where it is now. So yeah, I think people should just. I mean, you can get a lot of you know, job safety by selling the rights to something. So I probably would.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the thing is as well, like at the end of the day, best case scenario, you can say they've made my source material. They used my source material and made something phenomenal. Or you can say, oh, they made it shit. Well, this is what I wrote. This is what they did.
Yeah, so exactly.
It's sort of a win-win, really. You can say, oh, they've made the shit version. Mine's a good version. Or you can say, yeah, they took my version and made it onto the live screen and made it good. So,
honestly, I think that's true. I think it is a win-win because if it does really well, it's like, well, of course it did well. I wrote the book, you know. But then if it does badly, you just get like a bunch of internet reactionists who then just go and read your work instead because a bunch of people are telling them it's like, oh, it's the much better version of the story. So, yeah,
of course. We'll quickly. I know you have to go in a second, but we'll quickly do a little conclusion. We've all been working hard. George, what have you done today? What have you creatively done today? Come on.
George, I didn't know you'd be able to type those words without bursting into flames.
No, to be fair, George has actually made a second thumbnail, which is good of him, so I might use that. So he has worked a bit hard, to be fair to the lad. Did you guys see the show I added you guys in the private chat?
I'm not.
I have a question. If Smythen was made into a show, who would you choose to be the voices?
See, I think this is the benefit of George. For every silly joke he makes, there is a genuine good idea or good question there somewhere.
Bro, Jerry Seinfeld. Whoa, my dragon friend! How's it going?
What's the deal with Smythen? It's not a dating app, but it's not a Smythen.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't really know, to be honest. I think like I used to like fan casting things. And then the Fantastic Four movie took about 4 years to announce the cast, so that sort of killed all enjoyment I had for that. But I don't know.
Chris
I think
Crime as actor. Who else? Jack Black. Who else? Tom Kenny. Robert Downey Jr. Boom.
I think the problem is that both the characters are like early 20s. I think one's 23, one's 21 or something. And I don't really know that many young actors because I fucking hate watching like Riverdale or whatever it is. I don't know.
Riverdale, what's that? That sounds like some Game of Thrones location.
I'll probably send you a video later then, because there's a compilation of just how bad it is in terms of just writing. It is just atrocious. But I do know this. I think Lyderia would have to be voiced by Danny DeVito.
Oh no!
we don't know how women dragons. We don't know how female
No,
dragons sound.
no. Have a lady voicer. Don't have Danny DeVito. No!
I think that would make it.
Not that guy.
Okay, fine. If you wanted a female voice, maybe.
Cardi B. Yeah.
No. I don't know, because I think a lot of the female voice actors, unless you're like bringing in like an actor, have kind of a monopoly. So it'd probably end up being like a Tara Strong, or
that'd be awesome. Yeah, she's great.
A Grey Delisle, I think her name is, or something.
BA's 50-year-old woman. Yes, Danny.
Yeah, but then that's
just your decision. But it'd be so weird having the dragon voice being, "Oh, what's going on?" You know.
You're a coward, so it'd be the great. No, I was only a joke. I don't know. It's a cool thought. I think.
Who's Emily?
I'd like to have some sort of recurring villain, and maybe it could literally just be a different version of Hades, voiced by James Woods again. That would be funny. Just a different version, and no one ever mentions it.
Yeah. Fair. Well, I guess we can nicely wrap it there. One little final question. Will you be doing like some sort of big, you know, you did the Patch Plastic Plant Pledge video, which was pretty cool. Will you do like a SMY THEN? What's that spell? Smythen!
No, there is a teaser video edited by a great little video editor called Sonic Zeef. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Was recommended by Sean, the editor of the comic. And that's going to be on the project page. And to be fair, I could upload it to YouTube with his permission. I'm not really sure where he stands on that, but then he'd get publicity from it. So can't imagine he would object.
Do you voice over anything? Go the Patch Plastic, you know? Do you give a
quick comment? Yeah. It's my narration. It's just because it felt right. I didn't want to hire someone else to. It was my project, and I wanted to speak to whoever's potentially going to pledge or share, and just be like, this is how I feel about it. I've got a lot of passion for it because it feels more genuine. So,
well, have you got any final words promoting it, or kind
of? Yeah. So the pre-launch is now live. This means you can just kind of like follow, register your interest. The full list of rewards and the video preview pages, character profiles, all that stuff will go live on March 1st. There's a lot of cool stuff there. A lot of cool stuff that me, Sean, Shah, and Red have put together, and Sonic Zeef, to just dig into. And I'm hoping that it's a really cool first punch with Smythen that gets people to pledge. So I'll ask James to hopefully put the link to the Kickstarter in the video's description, because if not, then this whole hour has been pretty much a waste. But
now, come on, we've had a good laugh. Come on.
No, yeah, but just, you know, like there should be a link in the description. Hopefully.
Yeah, of course.
And awesome, thank you. And all you gotta do is click that. And if you're watching this after March 1st, then you can pledge and share and stuff. And if you're watching this in like April or May, and the campaign is unsuccessful, and you're laughing and pointing and laughing at the screen right now, then just yeah, like that. Then you know, just hope that the next project does a bit better. But hopefully, we don't have to get to that scenario. So, yeah.
Fair play. Well, George had a brilliant. Hold on, she's Junko's behind the YouTube. Okay, we should celebrate by watching.
No.
Yes. Come on.
No,
Yes.
No.
Yes, come on. It's good. Come on,
no.
It's good.
No,
please.
I'm leaving.
No, Ben. Oh, okay. I won't.
Okay.
You seriously don't want it on?
No. We move on.
All right, I'll get rid of it then.
Don't.
What's that? The Patch Plastic Plant Pledge.
No. Well, George, I did one of your fucking ideas, and that bloody failed. Oh shit, that's a. Oh, never mind. Link in the description. all I got to say for today. Thanks for watching. See you later, everyone. Peace, laters.